What's up guys, what's up cycling fanatics? This was the fastest UCI gravel race I've ever done and I lined up with one clear goal: to win.
We've got a monster gap to close right now. There's one guy away somewhere up the road.
But 3 mistakes made it very hard to reach my goal. From a rookie mistake at the start line, to the wrong tire choice, to a crash that ended my day. This is Turnhout Gravel, the first UCI Worlds qualifier of the year. And the first mistake I made came immediately at the start. The good thing was that I was there on time before the whole crowd arrived, so I lined up pretty much at the front row. Finally, I didn't have to chase all the way from the back of the start box. But when the group in front of us rolled off, I thought I had 2 minutes until we would start. So I stepped off the bike for some reason to calibrate my power meter, right when the gun went. I don't know why, I was waiting there for an hour doing nothing. Anyway, I jumped on the bike, turned on the camera, trying to start my head unit, which was still stuck like very deep in the calibration menu. Big rookie mistake, guys. Get ready and be ready to go full gas at the start, because these starts are like a swift race. Luckily, I managed to get back on the bike very quick and at the front to get a good position, ready for the first gravel. For me, qualifying itself isn't really the challenge. Just finishing in the top 25% of my age group, which qualifies you for the World Championship, is actually pretty easy to accomplish. The real goal here is winning the qualifier, because only the winner gets a crucial advantage, a spot in the priority start box at the World Championship. Last year, as you've seen in my video, I had to start all the way in the back, fighting through the field, burning all of my matches, and this drastically lowered my chance to win. And that's why in this season, everything is about that front row start. By the way, today's video is sponsored by Insta360. I filmed this race with the AcePro 2 on my invisible chest mount, and I also had a Go 3S in the rear to capture all of the chaos. The Ace 2 has better battery life, better audio, and a wider angle compared to the older AcePro 1. The difference in angle of view is pretty clear in a comparison here with the AcePro 1. I'll go over my setup and camera details later in this video, but if you want to check out Insta360, the link is down below in the description and the top comment. The race course of today was 144 kilometers over 2 loops with only 200 meters of total elevation, flat as a pancake. And for a bigger rider, flat and fast racers are in my favor. So that's why I was aiming high today. On paper, it looked super fast, and it was. But what I didn't realize beforehand, the many loose sandy sectors, they would decide everything. So 2 minutes in and we're going on to the first gravel. This is a very long straight line. You can see it on the map display at the top left. Speeds are super high, and until now I'm trying to save energy and draft. And immediately we're overtaking riders from the earlier group, and navigating through the chaos begins here. It's super crucial to keep an eye on the front riders of my category, because it's easy to lose them riding through hundreds of other age groupers. Now that I started at the front, I can at least try to keep an eye on these riders and not let anybody slip away, because that's the main goal here: stay in the front. 45k an hour here on the gravel. This gravel is still pretty smooth, so the speeds are high, but it's so crowded, so it's actually pretty difficult to get around all these guys, because there's not a lot of room left on the road. So here we are 5 minutes in the race, and this is why it's so tricky. There's a small gap in front of me, it opens up, but it doesn't look like it because there's so many scattered riders of the 1934 age group all over the place. And I stay patient because I don't want to close all the gaps myself. However, this is also very, very dangerous. Some guys will be gone before you know it, especially with these small barriers or tight turns. And if the group stretches out, if they are 50 riders ahead, this can be a couple hundred meters before you know it. And at this point, I couldn't really see the other guys. I wasn't really happy. Here's my race buddy Dan in front of me with the Panther jersey. And he hammers it. He's going around a lot of these riders, so I stay in his wheel and he's closing the gap to the front. And that's how fast it can go. I mean, I was still trucking along with 45k an hour, but within the first couple minutes, you could already lose the front just like that. So just to make this clear, guys, I'm in the 34-39 age group. We're racing with the pink numbers. All the guys in the white numbers are either elite or they're in the 1934 age group, so they are a different category.
Sorry, kom even tussendoor.
We're constantly zigzagging and slaloming around other riders, and it's difficult because other guys are overtaking, so I can't do anything else but to overtake as well, or I'm just gonna be left behind. You can never ride your own line like this. I'm constantly riding out of the ideal line, next to the trail, next to the single track or whatever, going over bumps and tree roots and everything. It makes it super hard, and it's never easy. It's always on the gas. So until now, I think I've got sight on all the other guys in my category, and then left-hand turn, and that's when we hit the first bit of very loose sand. My bike is already breaking out all over the place. Until now, I was still pretty happy with my tire choice, but this was beginning of mistake number 2. So even though there's bits and pieces of bricks and tarmac, most of it was off-road and stuff like this, it is actually very, very bumpy. And like I said before, a lot of riders are on the right side here. I have to ride off the ideal line and I'm just bumping and stomping away. It's hard to see on the footage, but it was so bumpy. And now I'm kind of stuck, nowhere to go. Other guys of my category are in the front, so I'm just trying to find a way to overtake some of these guys again, not to get left behind. It can go quick, guys. All of a sudden, Porco is there on the left, on the other side of the water. How the hell did he get there? That's pure track knowledge. And if you never pre-raced this track before, you would never be there, but he was overtaking a lot of riders. And now I think he is the first rider in our group. So paying attention, and paying attention. So here we're riding through a very big group of 1934 riders, and we're approaching the front of them, and this is where things get a bit messy. These guys are racing their own race, but they don't seem to notice that we are a different age group. One of the riders is even taking his hands off the bars to shove me aside. So I just said, dude, keep your hands on the bars. What are you doing? I already made up 2 minutes on you. And then he starts laughing, which is actually funny because he doesn't even realize we're a different group and we already caught up with them and we're overtaking them. Whatever, this happens all the time, and it's the worst part of these mixed categories racing. Guys, if you're watching this and you're racing in these events, don't latch on to every rider flying by from another category. There's usually a whole line of us. Just give some space, focus on your own race and battle the riders in your group. We are going to catch up and we're going to pass. So please give some space. Driving the pace here again, closing in on another huge group of 1934 riders, which means the whole slalom circus is going to start over again. Alright guys, let's switch on the rear camera. It's the Insta360 3S, the smallest camera I have. It's only 39 grams and it fits very well underneath the saddle. I didn't use it all race because the battery life is limited, but this second view perspective is really cool and the 4K quality out of this super small camera is actually impressive. Loose segment coming up. These parts are super important and decisive for this race. So staying at the front is of utmost importance. And I'm at the very front of our category right now. Fabio is coming on my right. He's taking the inside line and I was forced onto the outside. There's gates here in the middle of the road, super dangerous. And then right in front of me, a crash. I was exactly stuck behind these riders, so I try to go around as quickly as I can, get back up to speed, but at this point I couldn't tell who was ahead of me. I kind of missed that, so I assumed some of my category avoided the crash and were up the road, so again, full gas to chase. Right now I'm passing down here on my right. I'm yelling at him so he can jump on my wheel, but it looks like he's already on the limit and didn't have enough power left. You can see how tough these sand parts are and why it's so important to be in the front, and also why it's so important to have the correct tires. Just hammering right now, 500 watts through the loose sand. You can see other guys are on the right hand side trying to, you know, get that little bit of hard line. But then it's very bumpy in the grass, so it's also not ideal. However, I'm trying to get behind one of these guys to get a little bit of draft as well. It's just mayhem. It's everybody for himself. It's almost like you're going uphill. You can't really, you know, have that much of an advantage by riding in a group. Everybody has to push high power right now. Approaching another corner, taking the inside, overtaking like 10 riders in one go, and then full gas out of the corner again to accelerate. This is a battle. Right now it's full gas. If you're in the front and manage to drop other riders, that's where you can get away from your group. That's where you make the difference. And by now I had realized my second mistake, my bike setup. So I'm racing on my Yoeleo G21. This is the same bike that I used last year. Yoeleo launched the new G21 Altera recently, and I'll be building that up for my World Championship. Nice. For now though, I'm still on the previous model. The main change that I made for this bike in this race were the wheels and tires. In gravel, the tire setup is everything. The casing, the width and the pressure will decide your grip, rolling resistance and comfort. In my World Championship video, I explained why I usually run wider tires, 45 millimeters with a fast knobby thread.
Did one race on these tires and it just gives me so much more grip through corners, so I actually really like them, and they're still very fast because the knobbies are very tight together in the middle of the tire.
But here I kind of gambled. Winning is the goal, not just finishing. So sometimes you have to think outside of the box and take some risk. I didn't recon the course, so I could only trust on others saying it was smooth and very fast, like a racetrack. So that's why I went for more narrow 38mm semi-slicks. Even though there was some tarmac, the gravel wasn't that smooth. It's actually less smooth than it looks. I was running quite low pressure, but not low enough, and that can only be accomplished with wider tires, which would have floated over the sand way easier. So at this point I realized that choosing your tires to favor these key segments is way more important than having faster tires on the long stretches of tarmac. So what tires would you ride? Let me know in the comments. Here we are back on the road, so I'm still a bit behind from that crash, and now I will try to catch back up. So of course my narrow tires may be a bit faster on this couple minutes of tarmac, and I'm closing in on Vincent, who is in my category. but I'm still missing one guy, Fabio. He's up the road, and the longer it takes to catch him back, the smaller the chance will be, as he will also be joining faster riders of the 19 till 34 age group. And as you can see behind me, there's a massive gap. And this is all a result of both the crash and then the very hard segment with the loose sand, because that's where everything breaks up. So you can see how fast it goes and how big of a gap there was behind me, which I sort of avoided by going full gas again once I got around this crash. These loose parts are brutal. It's like having your finger in the door and it's just, you know, squeezing your finger. It's just not just physical, it's also mentally. You're grinding maximum effort in a sector that you don't know how long it's going to last. There's no smooth line, there's no options. The only thing you can do is just push. You hope to find a hard line with less resistance and you just keep on going.
Well, good luck with that.
Well, the other option is to crack and to drop and never see the front guys again. At this moment you can see my heart rate, it's 176. I'm still pushing, we're almost an hour in the race. So fatigue is going to sort of accumulate, it's going to get harder and harder. And at this point I couldn't really accelerate again. I couldn't close this gap fast enough. So I'm just trying to push as hard as I can and not drop behind. And I'm struggling so bad. The bike is going all over the place because of this loose sand. And by experience, I know big soft tires will just go so smooth. So believe me, the biggest difference is the tire pressure. And here we are on a very narrow part through these trees here, through these narrow barriers. This time it was fine, but in the second lap, not so much. Spoiler alert. But there is a big gap in front of me, which is not good. We have to close that up. We're 35k in this race, 1 hour in. We still have a long way to go. Just over an hour in, 43 kilometers done. We've got 100k left. Average speed is close to 40 kilometers an hour. That's really fast for a gravel race. And I wanted to keep on pushing because my goal is in front of me. But not alone, not by myself at the front. The way to do it is to find a few strong guys to work with. Often, if a group gets too big, half of them will just be drafting on the back, do nothing. That's not what you want. And at this moment, we're still riding for the second spot. I'm back with Kevin and Vincent, but Fabio is still ahead of us. And right now we are on this gravel and it looks really smooth, but it's not. It's more like little chunky rocks. I guess this will come close to sort of USA style of gravel. And my tires, they actually dig in a little bit, and wire tires would have more skimmed over these rocks. So the displacement of all these little rocks is causing a lot of drag, which will cost a lot of energy. And another spot where wider tires would have definitely be faster. So I finally spot Fabio far out in the distance. Not the guy in Belgian kit here in our group. far, far in front of us. I can see his national champions kit. He's not alone. He's joined with a few other riders, but I'm still within reach and we're still fighting for the win.
Oh, fuck. Kom op, draaien!
At this moment we're riding over this canal and we're gonna start the longest straight stretch of this race. It's just before start finish and it's straight on the map, so it looks easy, but it definitely was not easy. We're still with a group of 1934 guys. Kevin is there and he hits it at the front, he attacks. And the other guys let him go because he's from another category, but I can't let him ride off just like that. So on it, doing my best to close that gap. He notices, so he goes off the gas for a little bit for me to arrive.
Allez, allez!
Allez, allez is sort of my best French. Kevin, he gets it, he starts hammering it and we rotate. But soon, you know, I'm suffering very, very bad. Like I said, on the map it looks easy in a straight line. In reality, it was one of the tougher parts of this race. It was bumpy, it was loose, and it was a bit technical with a lot of big holes everywhere and you really had to pay attention. Anyway, with my narrow tires, I couldn't roll very smooth and these tree roots and small gutters and bumps were just sort of bumping me off balance the whole time and was forced into a high power constantly.
Got a fucking monster gap to close right now. Big group right behind us. But there's one guy away, somewhere up the road.
Now look how bumpy this is. I'm right on Kevin's wheel. I'm trusting his lines completely. If he makes a mistake, I'm done too. And this was technical and track knowledge really mattered. For example, here I didn't know to go right, so I was on the left, but I couldn't follow. Other guys kind of boxed me in, sending me straight over these big bumps, hitting a very, very shit line. We approached start finish and my battery was dead, so I only got these short flashes of video here. But I'm going to swap my battery. People often ask me how I managed to film the entire race, which is a big challenge on these 4-5 hour races. And the truth is, I don't. I stop the camera the whole time. Basically having two brains working simultaneously, like one to race the race, the other one is like a movie director that thinks ahead about stuff that I need to get on video. Previously with my GoPro, I was always shooting at a lower resolution to save battery life. But now with the AcePro 2, I can get it all in 4K and get kind of the same battery life out of it. So until now, I had an hour and 20 minutes of uncut footage from only one battery. So that's pretty good at 4K 30. These races, they're so long. Even though the battery life of the AcePro is a lot better, I still need to swap batteries mid-race, which is a challenge on its own at 40k an hour. Luckily, two batteries are usually enough. Vincent, Kevin and me are trying to break clear of this big group of younger riders. Without them, it was way less chaotic. We would be able to work together and keep up the speed. In my head, I'm still chasing first position. The goal was clear, and I'm not gonna stop until I reach the finish line. But realistically, number one is up the road somewhere with the fastest 19 and 34 riders because they are in the front, pretty obvious. So we're not just chasing him, we're not just chasing one guy, we're chasing an entire group. My buddy Dan arranged some helpers to give us some new bottles for the last 60k. And since it's two bottles at the same time, we put them in a bag. But grabbing that is harder than it looks, especially when you see the pros do it on TV when they're going uphill. I could grab it, but I'm kind of fucking around with this bag and trying to get these bottles out of it, and I'm falling back while I'm doing that. As you can see here, where I go from first to almost last of these like 50 riders, I actually got distracted. There was a banana in there, which I didn't expect, and I just needed to get my bottle.
Johan, geen banaan.
So I really messed up here. I lost focus, I dropped the wheel, and a big gap opens up right in front of me. I'm in a really bad spot right now. After putting in that big effort to get away from this group, now I can't even hold on. And I'm trying to still get some draft, trying to just stay with the last few riders and crawl back to this group, but my legs are hurting. So here we are again on that very important sand section. The rear camera is rolling to catch the action, and right now power is high, still trying to stay in the draft, trying to find a hard line, but it's difficult. I'm sitting on 500-600 watts right now, and I can't even hold this wheel. You can see the distance is increasing, but I'm pushing 500 watts and there's not much more in my legs. We're almost 3 hours in this race, been hammering at full gas, so I just see myself dropping off right now. Not good, guys. There is a corner coming up. Usually corners can save me. If you go a bit faster through a corner, then you can make up some distance, either to get away from somebody or to catch back on. I tried to turn in, but I couldn't really turn in, and I kind of lose it, hitting a lot of big bumps here, and then boom, gap. And as I already didn't have any legs left, I couldn't accelerate hard enough to stay with these guys. If you are behind me and you notice this happening, then definitely overtake me, because you will know a guy that's acting like this, like me, is about to drop. If you can't accelerate anymore out of these corners, if you're losing the wheel on loose sectors like this, that means you're on the limit. So if you see that happening in front of you, jump as quickly as you can, just like the guy here in blue, because the gap is only going to get bigger and bigger. Now you can see the difference here where we go through this corner and now the surface is hard. I accelerate and it's just easy. I close the gap right away to the guy in front of me. I can stay in his wheel. It's not a big issue. But as soon as it loosens up again, like here, again, I'm going to have a hard time.
Come on. Come on. Oh.
Guy behind me, number 815, shouts my name. You know, he's encouraging me to hang on. I'm just battling for survival right now. From chasing to win to getting dropped within minutes. I'm cooked. Luckily the sand segment ends and we can close up through this narrow bush trail. Still with the same guys from my category. So we're gonna hit these narrow barriers again, and then the final mistake that ends my chances of winning.
Oh.
Let's go over this in slow motion to see what happened. The rider in front of me coasts through the barriers, and then as he starts pedaling, he clips the log with his left foot and almost throws him off his bike. Then the log rolls straight under my front wheel. My wheel explodes instantly and I somersault over the bars. My race is done.
Oh. Ah, fuck. That's the end of today's race. This log, I'm gonna take it away because more guys are gonna crash. Fuck. I cracked my front wheel. So 0 chance of finishing this race.
So, was this my mistake or unavoidable bad luck? I actually checked the footage. The log wasn't there on the first passage of this barrier, so that's very strange. I don't know how this is possible, but let me know in the comments what you think. Either way, with a destroyed rim, I was out. This gentleman helped me, pointing me the right direction to get back, and I managed to limp the bike out of that trail.
7 kilometers to the start. This is the shortest route. First I have to get out of this trail. I did a really good front flip. Got some blood. My butt really hurts.
Credits to Yoeleo wheels actually, because they held up for another 8 kilometers to ride back to start finish on that cracked rim.
At least I don't have to walk. The upside is I just grabbed that bag with 2 bottles, so at least I have something to drink.
So, besides not achieving my main goal of winning, which I will still go after in a few other qualifiers, what did we learn in Turnhout Gravel?
My first DNF in a very long time, so I'm not happy, but you know, I crashed pretty hard and I have no broken bones. I can be back on the bike tomorrow, so could have been worse. One thing I think I learned, I gave it a shot on more narrow tires today. I thought it would be fast, but still, it was bumpy, there was chunky rocks, and I think wider tires would have been better actually. So lessons learned. Next race is Mallorca 312 actually, and then the next gravel race is the UCI gravel in Valkenburg. I need some new wheels. Gonna see you in that video. See ya! And for some reason there was a banana in that bag. Banana.